I was invited then to go by the Berlin Non-Violence Resistance Movement to attend their annual non-violence conference and to speak at that. Now, the Berlin Committee for Non-Violence, Berlin is a little village just outside Ramallah in the West Bank in the occupied territory. And this little village has been absolutely devastated. The separation wall right around this village and confiscating the villagers' land. So they can't go down to their olive groves because they get shot. Some of them are shot dead for merely trying to go into the olive groves. So their whole land is being confiscated in this little village of Berlin in order to make room for an Israeli settlement. So the villagers decided to mobilise, to organise, and to start a non-violent resistance movement. So every single Friday they go to the mosque, and then when they come from the mosque they gather and they walk up towards the wall to protest the building of the wall on their land. This wall is illegal. Under the International Court, this wall is supposed to be demolished, but Israel is ignoring these laws and just building the wall anyway. But we all know that 62 resolutions have been passed at the United Nations for Israel to uphold human rights and international laws, and Israel totally ignores these international laws. Why can they ignore these laws? Because they're protected by America. America vetoes, and so does Canada. It vetoes any international law that's put against the people of Palestine, and it must be remembered, and I speak here on Canadian soil, I'm bitterly disappointed with the Canadian government, because the Canadian government it used to be, in years back, people looked to Canada as a country with vision, with leadership, with being able to help the human, as a rich country, help the human family with advanced thinking. Today, Canada ranks amongst a country that is letting the world down, because when the people of Gaza elected Hamas, it was a democratically elected government. Now, we may not all agree with Hamas. I'm a pacifist. I don't believe in any kind of violence, and I challenge Hamas in using violence, particularly when they're aiming homemade rockets at civilian communities. That is not acceptable. But we all, as Democrats, have to recognise the voice of the people when it speaks. And when the people of Gaza elected Hamas as their elected politicians, Canada was the first country to reject the democratic voice of the people of Gaza and cut off their funding. And to me that is a disgrace. But when I went to Berlin and spoke at the conference, and then we participated on the Friday by going with the people after they'd gone to the mosque. We walked, mostly men. This was 3 years ago. It was the men, and it was totally non-violent. And these Israeli soldiers came right through onto Palestinian land and violently attacked unarmed civilians, including Dr. Mustafa, a medical doctor, one of the most highly respected leaders in the Palestinian community. Dr. Mustafa was born in Jerusalem and lives in Ramallah with his wife and can't go back to Jerusalem because he's not allowed in to Jerusalem. A man who was born in it by Israelis, he's not given a permit to go to Jerusalem. When I told him I was giving a talk in Jerusalem and I said, why don't you come along? He said, Mairead, I'm not allowed into Jerusalem because I don't have a permit. I mean, you don't actually understand till you're there the absolute, total apartheid racist system that's been operated by the Israeli government in Israel and Palestine today. So it gives you a sense of just how bad it is on the ground. So when we walked up, they came through and we were attacked with CS gas and rubber bullets, and we had to flee. And this gas travels down the side of the road with little children playing in their gardens, sucking in this gas into their chest. What is this doing to the health of the future little children in Gaza when they're constantly being attacked? And there's a man in the audience here, and he will verify with me, from Vancouver here, and he was standing beside me when, after one of the conferences, they decided that they would have a football match between the children of Berlin and some of the international visitors and the Israeli activists. And I pay tribute to the young Israeli activists who go to Berlin. I just think they're the people we have to support, because their courage is tremendous. Because as young Israeli activists, they're not allowed to go into these occupied territories by their own government, but they go and they build the friendships and they work for the human rights, and they are fantastic. But we were all standing, yes, they're brilliant, but we were all standing at this football match enjoying it, and the next thing, inside the village, little football match with the kids, harming nobody. The Israeli soldiers surrounded the whole area and came in and threw CS gas onto the football pitch where the children were playing. So the next time I went back again, I was trying to help. We were attacked by the Israeli military, and we were fleeing off the area, because when you see when you see in your television, when you see these situations, you see the people with the Palestinians with their Palestinian headscarves over their mouth, with the black glasses on. The Western media zone in, and these are the terrorists. We have to be frightened of all these terrorists because they're Palestinian, or they're Hamas, and they're demonized as real terrorists. Well, let me tell you what is happening here. When you go down into protest non-violently, you have to cover your mouth and your eyes, because this CS gas burns your eyes, goes into your lungs. So you cover your mouth, you cover your eyes, and I look pretty much like a terrorist. But it's a precaution for their own health, really. So we were trying to get away from the gas, away from the plastic bullets, and these bullets go up in the air and come down and shatters with a whole lot of missiles coming down on you. It's not one that you can dodge here, you can dodge a whole lot. So people have actually been killed. Rachel Curry was killed in Gaza, protesting the demolition of homes. A young American was very badly damaged, intensive care, and so people have died just trying to stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people. I was invited to go with the Free Gaza people, and the Free Gaza people are absolutely wonderful people, because it's just a group of ordinary people who've got together and said, Gaza has been cut off from the world, let's try to break the siege of Gaza. Let's get a boat and try to sail the boat from Larnaca into Gaza port and bring in medicines and toys for the children and break the siege of Gaza. And I was invited October last year to go on that boat from Larnaca to Gaza.